What's up, YouTube? It's Kenny again. Man, I am still stuck here in Texas with my truck getting worked on. Haven't called them yet this morning to see if they're done with it, and then still after Kenworth's done with it, I have to get the inverter fixed. I've been having a real hard time getting a decent video here. The lighting in the hotel room is crappy, and I've also been running around doing a bunch of stuff. So I apologize. I know I keep apologizing for not having a video out, but it is what it is, guys. It's a lot easier to do in my truck than in this hotel room and while I'm running around doing stuff here locally. But before we get started, just the usual disclaimer: I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a truck driver driving across the country, researching and trading stocks, and I will not be held responsible for any moves you make in the stock market. Not ever. I'm not your mama, all right? Hit that subscribe button for me. Mash on it. Like the video. And let me know what's been going on for you since I've been away. So, on Friday, I had bought Workhorse. I sold Workhorse for about $160 profit. I believe it was on Friday. It may have been Thursday. So I sold Workhorse, made some profit, little stair step up, even though a lot of stuff in the account's still down. It's still stair step up because I haven't sold any of the other stuff, all right? And then, man, this short report came out on Lordstown Motors, and Lordstown Motors just plummeted, guys, and it was already down during the correction. And so I bought some Lordstown in the Roth. I'm still down on what I own in the long-term account, but in the Roth I got in at $14.50. I bought 50 shares. So I'm already up on that. And there's a lot of talk about this short report with Lordstown. I have learned not to trust the short reports, okay? Yes, there's some pretty damning sounding stuff in there, but if you read the short report and you look at the bottom of it, it says right there, we have a short position in this company. In other words, they have a vested interest in forcing that stock down. And I have seen these short reports from Hindenburg and from others over and over and over again, okay? This is what they do. They buy shorts, and they go short on a stock, and then they release a whole bunch of nasty information to try to drop the stock so they can make some money, guys. This is what they do. The Lordstown CEO responded, said that they are still on track to start pumping out trucks in September. Is everything in the short report false? Probably not. But is it blown way out of proportion? Sure. And, there's no massive evidence that they've produced. It's basically their word against Lordstown. And, I don't buy it, guys. I don't buy the short report. Some of the things that they try to make look really bad in there are things that I would think are just normal. Like, yes, they're non-binding pre-orders. Most of these companies' pre-orders are non-binding. Like, there's no guarantee that they're going to sell all 100,000 of the pre-orders. There never was, and I never expected them to. So, and when they say they've been paying people for pre-orders, like, what do you think they pay these people by the hour who are out trying to gauge interest? Of course they get paid. It's not something that's abnormal. In this fire that I was already aware of before I even bought into them again. One of the prototype or whatever caught on fire, and it's like, how many cars did Tesla burn to the ground in the beginning? How many rockets have they exploded? You know what I mean? Like, that's just, those are learning experiences, and they're growing pains for when a company first starts mass producing products and stuff. These things happen, and it's what allows them to overcome their issues. If those things don't happen in the prototyping phase, then they've got to happen when people are actually in the cars. So it doesn't bother me, okay? I still think the Lordstown Motors is a solid buy going forward. I don't have a crystal ball and I'm not a financial advisor, so I could be wrong. You know what I mean? But my instincts tell me that Lordstown is a solid buy. Anyway, so I got in, I bought 50 shares. I wish I would have had more cash, but I'm still waiting on everything. Got 50 shares at $14.50. I'm already up over $1 as of the pre-market this morning. So ZOM is coming up. ZOM is now above my cost basis, so I'm in the green on it, at least in the pre-market today. I was just barely still in the red at the close on Friday. So we're getting back somewhere with that one. The release of their product is coming up pretty quickly. And so, I may not wait around like I had planned to make a bunch of money on it. I may go ahead and jump out of it up some, just not a whole lot, because, buy the rumor, sell the news. I think that it could drop after the announcement of them releasing the product and all that stuff. I think it could drop. So I'm looking to get out of that. I'm going to try to get as much profit out of it as I can. I'm hoping today that it jumps up somewhere toward $3, and that'll get me out with a small profit. Senseonics is just still staying way below my cost basis, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do for that. I think that their FDA approval and stuff is still quite some way away, so I think there is time for that one to come back, whereas I think Zomedica could get up to that $3 plus a little bit range and then drop after March 30th. I think that that's a possibility. So I'm not necessarily looking to try to hold on to that one much longer, much more than a week or two. Tesla had quite a bit of what I consider to be good news come out this morning, so we'll see what happens with that. It is back up to about 7 and has been hovering around there. I needed to get to 8.14 to be back up to my cost basis. And I would like to sell at least a couple shares of that because I need to free up some money to work with. Just basically, I'm still waiting on everything, guys. I'm still waiting on everything. Enphase, I know she's going to come back up. At a couple points there, it was up above my cost basis. I don't see myself selling any of the Enphase position. I did like some of the news that I read this morning that came out on Tesla. Of course, there's always one of those goofy ass moves, and they named Elon Musk the Techno King or something like that. But there was also a piece of news that came out talking about how they made it to where you can't buy the Powerwall unless you get solar through them. Or Sunrun. I believe they've got to deal with Sunrun. But basically, there has been a huge demand for the Tesla Powerwall, and now they've made it so that you can't really get the Tesla Powerwall unless you get solar from Tesla, like the roof or just a regular solar installation. So I think that works to their advantage because the Powerwall is so popular. I think it works to their advantage, and like I've said in a recent video, I do expect for the Tesla solar aspect to do much better over the next 5 years than it has previously. They've more or less been kind of giving it away for free and losing money on the deal to try to get people hooked on it, is my take on it. And I think over the next few years, I think that the solar is going to really take off for Tesla. And I think that shifting it so that you kind of have to get solar from them in order to get the Powerwall, I think is an excellent move on their part to increase the solar portion of the business. Enphase, guys, I really believe in Enphase, and it's going to happen for them. I'm not worried about that one. SunPower, I own a small portion of SunPower. I was liking to swing it and stuff, and then this big drop happened. And I had bought 20 shares because that was all the money I had when it dropped to, it was around 37 something. And then the bottom fell out of it during this correction. But now it's come back up. It's around 36. It's only 20 shares, so I'm probably going to sit on it for a while and hope that it comes back up in the 40s and toward 50, and see if I can eke a decent profit out of that. So overall, I feel pretty good about where things are right now. I may make another video kind of talking about inflation and my views on it, and the volatility that we're experiencing because of people's fears of inflation and the bond yields and all that stuff. I may make a video kind of talking about my perspective on it, because I think it's kind of an irrational fear that the market has about inflation, because the money becoming devalued causes the inflation, but that causes the prices of assets to go up. And even though it's kind of an artificial hike, because if it costs $1 to buy a pencil and then the dollar becomes worth less, it costs $1.50 to buy a pencil. So the pencil becomes more expensive. Well, stocks, real estate, assets in general are like the pencil. So when the money becomes worth less, the assets become worth more. So that's why I think that the inflation is kind of an irrational fear, because over the medium to long term, we stand to benefit from inflation because we own assets in the stock market. When you're doing short-term plays, yes, people freak out, the stocks drop, but then when everything levels back out, one would expect for the price to level out at a higher price if there's real inflation. But when you look at a chart of inflation, like, there has been no real inflation since like the late 70s or 80s. Like, you'll have these small spikes and then they'll come back down, and the government wants inflation, because it devalues their debt and makes their debt worth less, and they want inflation. They've been trying to cause inflation forever, and they just have not been able to cause it. Like, inflation just won't happen, and it hasn't happened since the 80s, despite the fact that they've tried and tried and tried to make inflation happen. It hasn't, like, real inflation, So it's an interesting topic that when I've delved into it, and I may make a full video on it. But for now, I'll just say that I'm not scared of inflation. I'm not scared. That what bothers me and what worries me is that other people become scared and sell off. And you just got to look at it as a buying opportunity and have faith that it is going to come back and level off. So, yeah, it is what it is. But I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys have a good day in the market. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, and let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Thanks for watching.